Hello, this is Marie Steffenson, and I wanted to share with you a little bit about my artistic journey. I have been creating since before I have memory, and my mother tells me horror stories that when I was young, I did a lot of portraits in pencil. And progressed and had a really good teacher in ceramics and ended up loving ceramics, the somatic experience of it, the meditative quality of it, the process, the hands and the earth aspect. However, when I moved to America for university, having years of ceramic work was not conducive to a lifestyle that required you to put your whole life into a suitcase and move continents frequently. And I lost a lot of my artwork, and I'm still sad about that. My parents gave me the option of bringing it back to America, and I sadly did not take that. And that's okay. It existed. So my first love was ceramics, and I loved it. But what I found is a lifestyle of moving more than once, period, is not conducive to owning a kiln, a ton of, like literal ton of clay, a wheel, and a lifetime supply of life-size female nude sculptures, which is what I was doing at that stage in ceramics. They're just way too heavy to pack in a suitcase and move. Amazingly, I did manage to fit 3 of them into a suitcase and did bring them, 3 the best, into in America. They're in storage now that I'm in a new continent. But just ceramics was not conducive to moving forever, consistently, more than once. My uncle gave my father for a Christmas gift, my uncle from Italy here, gave my father a pad of watercolor paper and paints and paintbrushes as a gift, and he didn't use them, so I started using them, and I started using them a lot and more and more and more, and that was the introduction to watercolor for me. But again, I didn't know how to use watercolor in any way other than the way you would use a gouache or acrylic. College gave me my first watercolor course, and life took unexpected turns and journeys and transitions. Several years later, we had returned to the States and had a brand new child. And all of my art supplies had either been given away or had been in storage for all the years that we were in Taiwan. So I come back to America, I pull out my art supplies, and I realize I have brushes, ink, and watercolors. And as I said before, watercolors never die. So I started watercoloring again, and using my ink and brushes. And again, that idea, use what you got. Use what you have where you're at. And I found that the second foray into watercolor was so good, because the difference between being a student versus not is, as a student, you're exploring every single media and every single idea. And I owned all the art supplies of printmaking and sculpting and watercolor and acrylic and canvases and everything, all the different mediums, collage, not oil. Actually I did own oils, I just didn't play with them. Fiber arts, can't forget those. Returning to America and having only ink, brushes, and watercolor allowed me to focus deeply on watercolor and just deep dive into what it is, how it works, why does it behave this way, what are the unique properties of each individual pigment, what it makes watercolor unique, what makes watercolor completely different than every other medium out there. And I just did a deep dive, and I haven't come up for air yet. It is so joyful to just explore this medium, and I believe that the next renaissance in art is happening in watercolor. I'm so excited to be part of it, and I'm so excited to be part of the future of the art world. And I look around and realize that it's on the younger generation, that's us, to keep walking forward and to take this art renaissance and be a joyful part of it. So I've kept up in watercolor, and what I'm learning is the longer you're at this, the less you need. The less stuff you need, the less volume. Paper, brush, pigment, that's it. That's all you need, water. I sacrificed, when I was putting my husband through his master's program, to afford the best quality paints. And I realized this is where it's most important to put the financial sacrifice in, for being a creative. And now I'm at the next step of, okay, I'm so happy with the watercolor product that I have. I'm exploring papers and seeing where are the papers that I enjoy, where are the papers that I want to use. And again, the product, there's always, one industry leader of the product, and this is, I'm not convinced that's the paper for me. So I've been enjoying exploring a wide variety of papers to see what is available, what do I want to use, how does it behave with the pigment, how does it behave with the brush, how does it behave with me and my painting speed and painting style of using large volumes. One thing I'm particularly challenged with is the drying speed. Every watercolorist knows this is our challenge, but I'm finding it actually dries too slowly for me on cotton papers. And I'm preferring the cellulose at this time because of the drying speed is in fact faster. And I prefer that at this time as I continue my journey. Wishing you all joy in your creative journey.